So we're joined today by Pizza Mind, who's a partner and advisor for Thought AI. So Pizza Mind, here's what I know about you. You run a venture capital firm. You're also a GP, another crypto-only hedge fund. And you're not shy on saying what you really think, right? Especially in the THT community on Discord. So I think today's conversation could get a little bit spicy, which is good. Obviously, don't hold back from what you're saying, and hopefully, we can get a few top secret behind the scenes kind of news about all that's going on with Thought AI. So, my first question for you is, can you tell us a little bit more about your background, experience in the world of Web3 and crypto, and what led you to become a partner and advisor for Thought AI?
Sure. Let me first start by saying thank you to you, Gavin, Chase as well, for putting all this stuff together for the community. It's made a huge difference already, and it certainly will continue to, as well as we continue to cycle more people connected to the thought universe through the hot seat, if you will. My background with crypto started in 2010. I was a very early Bitcoin miner. Not for very long, unfortunately. It fried my computer. This was back when you were doing CPU mining, and I could not afford that kind of hardware loss. So I got very angry and said, Bitcoin's stupid anyway. Forgot all about it until 2017 when a friend of mine came to me and he said, hey, you used to do Bitcoin, right? Well, let's do a joint venture and do some more Bitcoin mining. And I was like, is Bitcoin still around? Really? And this was, summer of 2017 before the big explosion and everything. But after that point, I was just pretty much all in, seeing that it had actually, survived and was getting traction. And there were so many more interesting things going on. And I became really attached to Monero. And I quickly realized that mining really wasn't the way to make money in this industry. At best, you were going to double your money every 3 years, which is great, but it wasn't going to be anything life-changing for me. I realized that you needed to learn to invest. And that came from reading the old book, Cash Flow Quadrants, realizing that the investor class is really the only way to escape slavery and reclaim your time. So I decided, okay, I need to learn how to invest, and I'm going to build a portfolio of 20 projects, and I'm going to expect 17 to die and the other 3 to be able to make up for it. And that's just the normal laws of averages in venture capital for the most part. And I realized, Web3 is even riskier. But as we sit today, maybe it was just beginner's luck, but 15 of those 20 projects are still alive. Many of them are not in profit, but they're still kicking and trying. One of them just happens to be Thought AI. I found Thought AI on an old website called ICO Drops. And they were just talking about coins that we're going to be doing fundraising through ICOs back in 2018. I read their white paper and I thought it was really interesting, and threw a little bit of money in and started running nodes to mine this token. It said, well, I can both invest and mine. So that was right up my alley. And it was also a CPU mineable coin. So that was perfect for the mining rigs that I had built with my partner. And shortly after the ICO, there was some kind of mention of private equity investment, and then everything just went dark. And there was no further communications for years, but the network was still up and we were still mining blocks and tokens. So I said, well, give it a chance. And then out of nowhere in, maybe 2021, or 2022 even, we got some notification on Telegram that we needed to upgrade our wallets. And that's when I went, holy shit, this thing is still alive, and they've just been developing in dark the entire time. So that's phenomenal. So I reached out to Andrew via email, the CEO, and I said, at this point in time, I'd really made a name for myself through the Crypto 101 podcast and the book Crypto Revolution, which is onboarding more than 100,000 people into crypto at this point. And I said, I've got some good connections and I'd love to be able to help your project. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you on the Web3 side. And he got back to me and he said, he'd love to continue that conversation. And we had conversations maybe once a month or every other month for about a year before the offer was made for me to come on as an advisor on the Web3 side of the business. they're not a Web3 company. They're a traditional tech AI company that just happens to have a Web3 component. So my job was to be able to teach them about the Web3 space, what works and what doesn't, pitfalls to look out for, scams to look out for, and develop a strategy to build out the Web3 side of the business once the product was ready and once they had raised some more capital. So I came on about a year ago and started planning out new tokenomics, marketing strategies, exchange listing strategies, all trying to time the bull run that we're currently in, or believe it or not, we're in now in 2024. So there's a lot of things to be excited that just simply can't be done yet. But the willingness of the thought team to learn and listen and be open to some radical new ideas, both on the technological side and economic side for the THT token, has really, really made me excited to continue trying to help and continuing to bring others into the ecosystem. So one of the things that we did at first was get listed on Coinmetro, which was an exchange, which is an exchange that I'm a big part of as well. It's a huge flagship of our ecosystem that we're building at Collective Ventures. And what they did over there by just putting their heads together and building the ability for others who don't have enough tokens for a masternode to still get some yield on their tokens, that was all them. I didn't have anything to do with that. And it was really cool just seeing both teams being willing to put their development towards that and making yet another passive income product for the average person to be able to grow their stash. So I think that's cool. Big shout out to Coinmetro, who's been huge supporters of Thought so far. And I think there's going to be a lot more that comes out of that partnership in the future. I know there's a lot of people that don't like having to do KYC, but that's just the unfortunate way that the crypto industry is going these days. Right or wrong, it's something that we have to deal with, whether we want to use Binance or KuCoin or Coinbase as well.
It's funny, and thanks for sharing all of that. It's funny, isn't it? Because people nowadays, they want all the money and the injection of capital and liquidity from BlackRock and these ETFs this and ETFs that, and all of this venture capital money, but yet they don't want to do the KYC side of things. So it's like you got to pick your poison, right?
Unfortunately, I think that DeFi and crypto especially has really gotten away from its roots and its beliefs and its core values. It breaks my heart in a large way. Seeing MakerDAO just rebrand and add a freeze function to their DAI token really just makes it another regulated stablecoin. And that's really, really unfortunate. But, you know, I guess that's what happens after one of your co-founders gets murdered by the CIA just days after posting on Twitter, hey, I'm going to be murdered by the CIA. And then it happens. So, you know, Chase
is smiling in the background. I told you, buddy, he's going to bring the spice, and we're not even 7 minutes in, and he's already.
Oh, that's nothing, man. I'm just simply quoting history at this point. I'm not even sharing my opinions for the most part. But I mean, what are you going to do then if you're really Christians?
If this talk makes it out on YouTube, just listen to it as quickly as you can before it's going to get taken down, I'm sure.
I mean, the screenshots are all there. It's not a secret in our industry. So that's kind of where things are at. So if you're Thought AI and you're building the future of AI, which terrifies the shit out of people and excites others, you have to really be very careful, especially if you already have a working background with the federal government. So, you know, they already know who these people are. They know what they're doing. They're going to have eyes on them. And furthermore, Thought AI is going back to the government and pitching ideas on how they can help in certain ways. So one of the AI agent use cases that we're all very excited about is this upcoming partnership with the U.S. Air Force. And it's not to do, you know, war simulation or anything like that, or to, help fly fleets of attack drones or anything, but it's simply having ongoing training simulators for flight simulators where you're not flying through the same terrain all the time that's been programmed, but you can have dynamic terrain that is constantly being updated. It's constantly fresh every time the pilot goes in, and it can react to the pilot's own skill. So if you have a master pilot, you can still build programs that challenge and build their skills even after 20, 30 years versus, the same guys using Microsoft Simulator from 1998 or whatever, he's going to be able to do that in his sleep by now. So there's really a fine line that you have to toe between being disruptive and being dead, especially when it comes to technology. And with the way the current administration has been there, it's even more so for tokens. We're seeing the SEC declare literally everything under the sun, including NFTs and art and music, to be securities, which doesn't make any sense. I don't think they truly expect to win these cases in court, but they really want to give crypto companies an extremely hard time. Thought AI, being a US-based company, has to be extremely careful about what they put out, how they do things, what exchanges they get listed on, and all that stuff, at least until this administration is gone and a friendly crypto environment can be made. And I think that's when you'll start seeing a lot more attention get paid to marketing, towards new economics for the THT token, towards more partnerships, announcements, and things like that. You really have to grow at the right time. And timing really is everything in this market. I know everyone loves thought for the technology, but they're also investing in the THT token with hopes of some sort of gain for participation in the network. And we want to really tie the whole participation piece into it, because I think utility tokens, when they were doing ICOs back in 2016, 17, 18, utility tokens were a way to try and get around being classified as a security. And Ethereum kind of pioneered all that and said, well, this functions as gas on the network. But really, we've seen over the past several years that a gas token does not create nearly enough demand to match its supply. And these things just get destroyed on the open market. It's just straight down the more emissions come out. So there needs to be a better mechanism and a better flow of value from the network to these token holders. And there needs to be more effort made by the token holders than just simply holding. You need to be a participant in the network and contribute one way or another. So you've got somewhat of a living digital organism, if you will, that is this network, whether it's Ethereum or Optimism or even Thought AI's fabric. Everyone's contributing to it in some way or another. And then you can have some sort of democratized fee abstraction or value abstraction that's being created by these products. It shouldn't just simply be how things are being done today. It's an absolute death sentence for every project. So I think as an industry, we're going to evolve how we look at tokenomics once the big overhang of US legal threats allow it to. And in the meantime, it's just kind of hang on and lay low for dear life.